Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Off Topic with Deron Wilson. My name is Deron and I'm your host. Now this is part 1 of my conversation with my good friend Candace Kita. She is a very talented actress, model, magazine editor, a talk show host, a writer, a prankster. Yes, she has a great story about pulling pranks with none other than Mel Gibson. So sit back and enjoy. Hi, Candace. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Deron. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
And thank you for inviting me into your lovely home.
And here we are the day before Thanksgiving, and you were so kind to start driving at 5 a.m. and be here by 7. So this is very early.
I was hoping holiday light traffic started early, but unfortunately it did not.
Oh, it was terrible on the way up.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Well, you didn't go by the airport, that's why.
No, I took the 5 to the 101 this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's what I was watching the news this morning, and they said that between 2:30 and 3:30 is basically the busiest traffic of the year, which is the pre-Thanksgiving crunch or something. They just showed it.
Wonderful. So I'm expecting probably a 3-hour tour home. It's been worse. My record is 4 hours.
To get back?
Yeah, there was an accident one day, and I chose not to use GPS, so I suffered.
My record, I want to tell you, between here and San Clemente was 5 hours.
That could have been worse.
That was the one time that I couldn't believe how long it took to get from one place to the other.
You're like, why didn't I just go to Vegas?
I know, seriously, 5 hours, or you could almost make it to San Francisco.
And we are in LA right now, and I do live in Orange County, so
that's why.
That's the drive we're talking about.
And I appreciate the fact that you drove up today.
Gladly. Again, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, no, I'm so excited because you called yesterday and I was like, I don't know if we have enough time. It's the day before Thanksgiving. And you're like, no. I said, do you mind coming super early? And you're like, no, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, okay. And sure enough, I texted you. And I was like, where are you? He goes, I just parked. And I was like, oh, wow.
I'm out front, right outside your door. Let me in.
I know. It's like amazing.
I need my coffee.
I know.
I want to hang out with the turtles.
Tortoises.
Tortoises.
Tortoises and lizards.
What
and
is the
frogs.
difference?
A tortoise is a land reptile, and turtles are in the water.
Okay.
So, and I've got like aquatic frogs that you can see there, and lizards and tortoises. I don't know why. I just do. It's weird. I don't have kids.
I'll post one on my Instagram account.
Oh, cool.
So you can all see it.
And they have outfits sometimes that put them in funny outfits, although I don't know where they are right now.
You dress up your
pumpkins.
Shelled?
Yeah, you dress
pets?
the shell up. So you have like a pumpkin outfit for Halloween, Easter egg for Easter, birthday cake. The small guy becomes a cupcake with a candle, and the other guy is a birthday cake. I'm not joking. And they're knitted, and they're actually called tortoise cozies. And if you look online, there's a whole thing of the reptile people are weird anyways, and there's this whole underground subculture. They have these cons where several times throughout the year. They should do a turtle con, but they don't. Their Repticon is one, and they're these ginormous, I'm not joking, conventions where people go to buy reptiles and reptile stuff. And so I want to go, but I don't want to wait in the lines because they're so popular. There's this huge subculture.
The lines move really slow.
Da-da-da.
That one was too easy. Thank you.
That's
Thank
funny.
you for the setup.
And I'll be playing in Vegas. And yeah.
I'm here all week.
So yeah, so they people love them, and I don't know why I like them so much. I just do.
Well, as somebody in the entertainment business, they're easy to have as a pet.
And they're really clean. That's another thing. They're super, super clean. You probably don't know that, but they're like one of the cleanest animals. The lizard's in the bed with me. You know, he's so clean. I know it sounds crazy. The tortoise has been in the bed. So they watch Netflix.
Well, I'm getting closer to having heard it all. So
yeah. That's
okay.
funny.
Let's talk about how you got to LA because, well, you were born in LA, but you left.
Yeah, I left when I was super young. I left when I was 2, and I moved to London with my family, and then I moved to Antwerp in Belgium with my family, and then we located to Texas. So most of my life was in Texas, and then I came out here to be an actor, and that's kind of around where you and I met, because you and I have known each other, I mean, it sounds crazy, 26 years almost.
Yeah, 1995.
We met in 1995, and on Masked Rider, and we worked together for 2 years, and that was the second year that I was there, that I've been to California. So
And on that show, you had one of the lead roles. Your character's name was?
Barbara.
What was your last name?
Stewart.
Barbara Stewart.
And I was so lucky because to have gotten a series so early, I didn't know that that was abnormal. So it was almost like after the series where I really realized how challenging being an actor was because I didn't know. I got here and auditioned and got a job that lasted 2 years, And then after that was challenging because I was like, oh, you don't get a job that easy? You just don't jump from another series to another series,
That's
So
a perfect world.
yeah. And I thought, oh, it was easy. Oh, I don't have anything to worry about. 26 years later is when I really seen the challenges, of really being in the entertainment industry and riding those, great waves of success. And then these dearths of nothing is going on. So,
Well, let's talk about Masked Rider a little bit. First of all, that was they kind of set the standard for diversity in families.
yeah, it was Fox TV's first multiracial family. So going back now, it seems kind of common, but going back that to the 90s, the mom was Asian, the dad was Caucasian. They had one adopted son who was African American, and a daughter who was also adopted who was Caucasian, and then of course somebody who was an alien.
An alien.
So, but it was diversified on purpose, and I thought it was great because it just showed the family played such a huge part in that show because it was always about being together and positivity.
Yes.
Always. The beginning of the show showed the positive elements of everybody being in a family. Doesn't matter what race you are. It's about love. And then they always wrapped it up at the end that way.
Yes, they did. They were very good at that.
And I think it was an intentional thing, and the parents always listened to the kids and treated them with respect. I think it was a novel thing probably at that time.
Right. And it's a bummer that the show didn't last longer just
No, I
for
know.
that reason alone.
Yeah.
Not that you were one of the leading characters. It would have been nice to have a long-running
It
show
would
for
be
you.
not. Yeah, we went 40 episodes, 3 seasons and 40 episodes. But Beetleborgs went a lot further than us, and Power Rangers went a lot further than us.
Power Rangers is still going, aren't
Yeah,
they?
Power Rangers is still going, but we were at that time period of like Sweet Valley High and VR Troopers, and we all kind of almost went the same amount of time. You know what I mean? It was kind of expected. And then after that, after us, Beetleborgs came in.
Right. And it was all on Fox Kids.
Right, all on Fox Kids in the morning. But it was about positivity and just, what really constitutes a family. It's not necessarily that you're born into it. It's that people caring about each other.
What were some of your most fun episodes that you got to do some really cool stuff?
The Christmas episode was awesome because it was so different. We had a different crew because it was a last minute choice to do it. And it was very frustrating, but some of the most real moments with TJ and David, they were almost like a father and son in real life in those scenes. They were really themselves. And I can tell because you know somebody for 2 years, you know the real person versus the actor.
Right.
And I could tell that when they were playing those scenes, they were really playing it as themselves, And that was really cool to see that.
And I think that episode can be found on YouTube.
Yeah, you can see it now on YouTube. I kind of watch it every Christmas just because
Okay.
it's there. So, but I mean, I remember just fun stuff not on the set. Like every day, you and I had lunch. We would always have lunch together, and everybody would just joke around all day, and we would have 10 to 12-hour days minimum. And I remember the dance episode, we had 17-hour days because we had to work all day and then go to dance class to learn dance sequences like the jitterbug and all that at nighttime to get ready for the next day. So, that was, those were the days.
I was the main character's photo double and stand-in on that show.
Yeah.
So I got to learn a little bit of dancing, but fortunately I didn't have to make fun of myself and get laughed at.
And you were there with us every single day.
Yes, I was.
Seriously.
That was a good time. Those were some good times.
They really were. And you look the same. That's what always blows me away is people change over the years. You and Michi Yamoto, who was the head stunt guy for The Masked Rider, who is a very well-known stunt guy today, both of you guys have not changed at all.
Well, I have a couple gray hairs.
Few, but everybody does.
I actually painted them in. They're not really gray.
Just to make it look like you've aged a little bit. You're really a vampire.
Okay, so 40 episodes, two seasons, about 2 years it took
It was
for that
3
show.
seasons. Yeah, it was 1 season shot by itself, and then 2 and 3 were shot together. So there was a hiatus between the first and the second. So it's 40 episodes, but it was really 3
3
seasons.
seasons, okay.
Yeah, but it's confusing because 2 and 3 were shot with no break.
Gotcha. So where did you go after Masked Rider. What
After
did you do?
that, as soon as I got off the show, I flew to New York to see my friend for 2 weeks because I had never had a break. And so I went to New York and sat at the base of the World Trade Center before it, blew up, and just kind of enjoyed living life again. Because we were on the set, I would get up at 4:20 every morning, which I do today too, which is ironic. But I'd be at the studios in Valencia, the first one in the chair at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Hair and makeup because the kids have priority because of the Coogan law.
Right.
So they would make the adults, get dressed and what they say, hang around and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. Because the kids have to have a certain amount of time in and out, and the show was about kids. So David and I had to do a lot of waiting. So for the first time, I was kind of free. So I remember going to the Metropolitan, Museum of Art and the MoMA and looking around and kind of getting back into having a regular life. Because I remember they said that when you start a series, it's like a marathon.
Right.
And it was like a marathon. And then finally to have your own kind of you're forgetting who you are, and then you got to stop and remember who you are again.
And you were in a majority of the scenes in every episode.
I never was not there. They were like, when I first got the job, they're like, oh, maybe you could still audition. And it ended up being I was there, every single day. And then dialogue replacement on Saturdays. So,
they made you do ADR on Saturdays?
Yeah, Saturdays I'd go to Westwood and do ADR. So it's like the only day I had off to really learn lines and do whatever was Sunday. So I never stopped, So I never had food in the fridge because there was no reason to.
Right.
Because I was never home.
Eat on set, too.
Yeah, we would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner on set. So I would have an empty refrigerator at home. There was no reason to have anything. So
Which is a blessing in itself.
yeah, and it was like a family, So we miss those days. We're still in contact with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one of those things with working on a show and being there every day. You make some great friends and lifelong friendships. And obviously it's been 1995.
It's been 20-something years. I mean, I saw Rhiannon this week. I talk to David all the time. The director, Worth Keeter, I still talk to. AJ, who played the Albie, the young boy. I talk to he and his family all the time. He's like a rapper now, and, it just never stops.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is.
So.
It is an amazing thing to be on a show like that, and it was a hit show back then.
It was back then. Yeah, it was. It would win in its rating for its time slot all the time.
So, what was your acting experience before you got that role?
I had done very few roles, and I came out here to pursue acting, and then went to that audition. And in a way, it was good that I didn't know because I had to audition 5 times for that role. To finally get to network was the 5th time, but I was so naive. I didn't understand that was a big deal, so I wasn't stressed. You know what I mean? Ignorance is bliss. And so I didn't know. And so then when I got it, I still didn't think it was that big of a deal, and I didn't understand. So in a way, it was really good to have it right off the bat. And I've gone to network for other shows and have not gotten them since then. So I was lucky. I had not had that much acting experience before I got that show. I learned on the show. And the director said that's the best place. You get paid to show up every day and go to acting school.
Exactly. It's like film school and an acting class and getting paid to do it.
Yeah, exactly. 10 to 12 hours a day, banana out, stand on the half apple, hit that mark, don't get into somebody else's light. There's so many technical things that go on that people don't know actors are doing. On the camera, they think they're just doing lines, but they're really not. And all that stuff I learned on set. So it was invaluable.
Stuff that you can't learn in acting class.
No, because you have to be on set. You have to experience it and do it and take direction well. And also I learned what is everybody else's job on set. There's 50 people that are watching. The actors look like they're in a room by themselves. There's 50 people on set making all this happen.
If not more.
Right. Including producers, UPMs. I mean, just people that are in the office making it all happen too. People have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. And so I learned all of that being on that show for that long. I learned how a set and a show works all together, everybody. And I was just one small piece of one little component of a huge thing.
There's literally hundreds of people per episode that make it happen.
Oh, yeah. People have no idea. And then, the execs, the people that are making all the decisions, at Fox. And it trickles down to us, the people have and then the people that are in post, and editing and sound and, sweetening stuff, like the people have no clue.
Yeah. That's not even touching on what it take to get the footage to even make that show.
Yeah, because they had to get some of the footage from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
We would have a small segment of that, and then we build the show around that. And there's writers, and producers. And I just people have no idea when we would walk into Sound Stages 1 and 2, the fully working, offices that we had, and, props and wardrobe and hair and makeup. And, it was a huge thing.
It really is amazing.
Yeah. And you and I were very, very lucky to have worked for 2 years there.
I 100% agree. Mm-hmm. I loved being on that set every day. Looked forward to getting up at 4 a.m. and the long days. And it was a big learning experience for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Both of us, because we were both so young.
And I got to do everything first as the stand-in.
I know. And you read the lines and everything. Like, you acted through everything. Because I remember you had your sides and you acted through every scene.
It was like getting paid to go to acting class.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of footage of my shoulders and the back of my head.
Yeah.
Something I can tell my kids if I ever have any one day.
That's true. Or your reptiles.
Reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to look into becoming a reptile pet owner.
Yeah, reptile parent.
So what was your next acting job after Masked Rider?
I think the very next job I got was a commercial for, I don't know, I even remember this, FX, the station, the network.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a cheerleader on a trampoline. And the reason why I remember is because we were on the trampoline all day. And then there was a stunt coordinator there. And one of the girls, there were only 3 of us. And this one nice girl, the very last jump in the very last day, she jumped up and she came down on the side of the trampoline and she broke her ankle. I'll never forget that because it was the very last thing that she was doing at the end of the day. And she ended up breaking her ankle and that she was incapacitated for a super long amount of time. So that was the next job I got. And I watched this poor girl, break her ankle on set. Funny. You asked. That's what happened right after. And I was like, oh, my goodness.
The stories we have.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Okay, so that brings us into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Goodness. Still so long ago.
I know, but like yesterday at the same time.
Now, looking at your IMDb page, which is getting quite extensive, you've got some pretty big people you worked with. I'm seeing Pamela Anderson, Billy Bob Thornton, Adam Sandler, Mel Gibson.
Yeah. My favorite, though, was Hugh Laurie, because I guest starred on House. And I had watched him for the longest time on Wooster and Jeeves and Blackadder, because, I grew up in London. And to work with him was bigger to me than working with anybody else. I know that sounds strange. I just had the best time with him.
I love that show.
I never
Laurie's
saw
awesome.
House.
Really?
I'd never seen it, and I booked it, and then we got to spend the week together, and he would box on set in between, and he's like the tallest person. He's like, I think 6'5" or 6'6", tallest person on the set. And that was more exciting to me than working with anybody else, because I was like, I got to work with, the Prince Regent from Blackadder. That's how I thought of it. I was so excited.
What episode were you on?
So the one, it was a controversial episode too. It was when, you could see it on YouTube. I get shot with an arrow. It was a prosthetic arrow, and I get shot in the chest, and blood comes out. It was actually a ball under my armpit, and I would squish my arm down. It would release the blood, and I had a white shirt on, and then it went everywhere. And we do it in front of this guy who freaks out because I get killed in a hotel room. But then it was a trick arrow. And so who's the guy? What's his name? He was in, what's that movie with Robin Williams? Dead Poets Society? Mm-hmm. That guy's in my scene, too. What's his name?
Ethan Hawke?
No. I can't remember. Anyways, he was there, too. But anyway, you could see it on YouTube, and it's funny. And he thought, I remember when we did it a couple times, and Hugh Laurie would be like, oh my God, that looks so great. I can't believe we'd both be jumping up and down like kids after each take, because I would like die on the floor, this horrible dramatic death. And both of us were like children, and we would be jumping up and down and so excited that, that blood thing actually worked. It's like having fun. It's like playing as children a lot of times on set. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah, and Mel
Getting paid
Gibson
to
and I were
play.
the same way. We would prank the crew all the time. And he'd
I
be,
did read about that prank you guys pulled. Mel Gibson was quite the prankster, wasn't he?
He always liked to prank the crew, and he would always say, "We're going to do this." I'm like, "I'm not going to do that," and I'd be like, "No, no. At lunchtime, you're going to go into makeup and wardrobe, and they're going to put a bunch of fake
Is this
hair.
the chest hair one?
Yeah, they're going to put
Nice.
fake chest hair all over you, and then you're going to wear it, and then when you go back in the hot tub after lunch, take off the robe and get into the hot tub as though you don't know you have chest hair." And act as if it's not on you. And I said, "What?" And he goes, "So that's what you're going to do at lunch." And I said, "Okay." So
This
I put
is
on.
Mel telling you this.
Mel's telling me this. So then at lunch, I went and got all this chest hair put on my body. And then I got into the hot tub after lunch, and everybody freaked out because I acted as if it was not a big deal. And people's mouths dropped to the floor.
That's rad. Were they rolling on
So,
that?
yeah, they were rolling, I think. And he was just like, he couldn't stop making jokes. He's the nicest person. I know that all that stuff happened, but
What was this show? What's the name of the show?
Complete Savages.
And this is network
On,
TV for
ABC.
for Mel.
Yeah, it was the only time he was on a network TV, and we did a season together. And he was really the nicest person. I don't know why they say he's racist because I don't believe he is. Because I'm not white, and he was responsible for getting me back on the show and was the nicest person to me. And we joked all the time, back and forth, and he always asked my opinion all the time.
Tell us how he was responsible.
Yeah,
you
because
getting
I
on the
was
show?
supposed to go on the show once, and I died.
Okay.
And then the casting directors, Barbie Block and Sally Steiner, said that he was jumping up and down on the chairs, standing on the chairs, jumping up and down like a trampoline, saying, "We have to have her back, we have to have her back." And they were like, "Well, she died on the show." And he goes, "We're going to make her like Kenny in South Park, and she'll get killed in every episode, but we have to have her back." So he was responsible for bringing me back the whole season, not anybody else. And he'd be like, "Well, what about this? You can go get killed we'll dip you in honey and put you in the ground, and you can get killed by a bunch of picnic ants." Like, he'd say all this crazy stuff. Or you'll be a snow bunny in a bikini on skis and get killed on the ski slopes. Like, he'd go, "What do you think of this? This is what we'll do next week." Like, all this crazy stuff. So smart and so quick-witted and so fast, and he gets so much done.
He does have quite the resume now, so
Yeah, exactly. The energy that he has, I've just never seen. His energy is unmatched.
I have a new respect for Mel Gibson now.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he would, at the end of the day, he would always seek me out and say, "We're partners in crime, don't you?" Like, he would always say that. And he went on the Tonight Show and talked about me.
No kidding?
No, to, what's his name? Jay Leno. So he just, he was really supportive. Adam Sandler's been super supportive too. I've had a lot of people that have been super supportive in my career. And I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of my hangout with Candace. Part 2 will be coming out soon. Subscribe in Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts to get new episodes and also hear past episodes. And check out the show notes for links to Candace's social media and IMDb page. Thank you to Mike Roy and his band Go Casual for providing the music. And until next time, I'm Deron Wilson. Happy holidays. Talk to you soon.